In a world of horror, countless hours of cinema, what is truly terrifying? What will keep the kids up at night? What scene can never be unseen? Join us as we watch everything horror and discover the 13 degrees of screams.
Welcome to 13 Degrees of Screams.
We're your hosts, Stephanie.
And Alex.
And this week, we eat some people and bones and all.
Stephanie?
Yeah.
Have you seen Bones and All before we watched it for the podcast?
No, but I wanted to.
Why?
I thought it was an interesting story. I don't know. I remember it came out around Thanksgiving, but I couldn't get anyone to see it with me, and then it kind of faded from my mind.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know who I would have asked to see it with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of it? I know you haven't seen it before. Mm-hmm. Alex messaged me, and actually Nick got to me first.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm upset. I'm upset with you.
He chose to watch it. He didn't have to. I had to. He didn't have to.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it. However, cannibalism is just a bad topic for me. So it was a rough one to watch, for sure.
Well, I know you don't like the... It's really funny to me, too, because you love Terrifier and stuff like that, but you don't like certain gore.
You know what it is? And I actually had this conversation with Nick, speaking of. It's, at a certain point, it becomes so gory, it's over the top. So then I'm like, well, this isn't real. Like, if you watch something from Terrifier, like, well, that is so fake. It's not real. But something simple that could happen to me, like, get my finger bit off, like, that's not outside the realm of possibility.
I guess.
I'm able to put myself in that situation way more than some of the crazy like, at some point, it's just like, that's just silly. That's not real.
I don't know, because, like, I feel like I'm the opposite. Like, the more fantastical and weird and gross it is, the more I'm like, wow, no. Can't be me. Like, and I mean, like, yeah, I know, realistically, couldn't be me, but... Yeah, no, I don't know. It bothers me more than it would be the more realistic
That's
stuff.
Probably
I feel like
most
serial
people.
Killers and stuff are, well, like, it's just real. Is it just all? But, like...
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Terrifier... Because I saw it in theaters, and I was a little worried, because I was hearing people were, like, passing out in the movie theater, and Nick wanted to see it. I'm like, oh, God, okay, well, I'll go, and if I have to leave, I have to leave. And I was completely fine the whole movie. I was like... I was like, okay, well,
I've seen clips, and I was like, not it.
We're going to cover it for the podcast. I had to watch Bones and All, so you're going to watch Terrifier.
Honestly, I didn't think I had a fear of clowns, but I think I do. I just don't know.
Oh, this is going to be your 13th movie. Extreme gore and a clown.
Yeah, maybe. Because, like, I will say that face is the face that I envision when I'm like, something might be standing in my room at night.
Oh, the Art the Clown?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just not a good one.
That's going to be like our 100th movie. We got to do something big for it. And I'll watch. You know how long Terrifier 2 is?
Too long?
2.5 hours.
I'm coming to your house, and I'm going to need your dog in my lap. And I'll be like, Zuko will tell me exactly what happens.
Oh, my God. I guess if that's what you need to watch it, I guess I'll oblige.
Yeah, I think that'll need to happen.
But back to Bones and All. I did like it. I like Timothée Chalamet?
Chalamet, I think.
Chalamet. I was watching an interview, and he was saying his name is technically pronounced Timothée. So it's Timothée Chalamet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Allegedly. That's what he said.
Timothée?
Timothée Chalamet.
I mean, it is spelled differently, so I guess.
But I like him, and I liked the actress who plays our main character.
Taylor Russell?
Yeah, she's in Escape Room.
I've never seen that. I haven't seen her in anything, really.
Escape Room is so good.
Really?
She's also, I like it a lot. I think it's really good. She's really good in Escape Room. A lot of people don't like the second one, but I like them both.
Oh, okay.
She's also in, did you see Lost in Space on Netflix, I believe?
Oh, no. I think Charlie and Tyler watched it for their show, though.
She's one of the daughters in that.
Yeah, no, I didn't recognize her from anything.
Oh.
But I thought she was good in this.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Very convincing little cannibal teenager lady.
Yeah. I met so many, so I could really tell she was spot on.
Right.
I knew.
Knew it right away.
So did you like it, though?
I did. Honestly, it didn't bother me. I think the most bothersome is the finger scene. Like, You know that's like a carrot, though, that snap. Like,
yeah, I know it's not real.
But still, yeah.
It's enough to be convincing, and I'm like, mm-mm. So from that moment on to about halfway through the movie, I was on the verge of, like, almost passing out. So for, like, an hour, I was, like, not passing out, but, like, you know when you start to get nauseous, like, you feel, like, a little, like, not tingly, but achy all over? Mm-hmm. I was like that for the first hour of this movie.
The lightheadedness?
Uh-huh. It went away eventually. I was like, okay, it's fine, but it took a long time to get there. I'm sorry.
It's not really as graphic for what it's built up to be.
Oh, no, it's really not. But again, something as small as... That was enough. That was enough for me. And it usually takes me a long time to calm down. We were on a road trip. I forgot where we were going, but we were listening to Morbid. Mm-hmm. And they were talking about something, and I had to lay the seat down in the car and lay down for like an hour, and I was like dry heaving. It was so bad. I forgot what they were talking about. Some serial killer, obviously, but I was like,
Yeah, I mean, there's certain ones, like Albert Fish. That one really bothers me. Don't look up those details unless you really want to give your brain like the weird little tinglies that make you feel icky.
The one that got me was... Last podcast on the left, they did Willie Pigton. And I was on the way to work. It was during the winter. And I was getting nauseous. And my hands were going numb. Driving to work. Mm-hmm. So I had to turn it off and roll down all the windows. And get the cool, fresh air.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Like, some of those are bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But bones and all.
Bones and all. Back to it.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It also felt so dirty. Like, the movie was just dirty.
That's what I would describe it as, dingy. Just everyone was dingy.
It was dirty.
Yeah.
So that also didn't help the whole gross factor of everything. So
yeah. I mean, they're basically homeless, so it makes sense. So
even when she was at the beginning, like, the house was just...
It was just a trailer. I think he just... Whatever had 4 walls, like, they were living in. You know?
Yeah, it makes sense why it was like that. But just, like, everyone's... It felt hot. Too. Everyone just looked hot.
Yes.
Like you probably stink a little bit.
Yeah, a little
outside bit. Because you ate people?
Yeah.
But
that's probably why they can smell each other. It's like a little...
Spoiler. They're not regular cannibals. They're advanced cannibals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have a special superpower.
That's a weird power to have, but okay.
It is.
Are you ready to go into some movie background?
Yeah, let's do it.
Bones and All is a 2022 romantic horror film that was directed by Luca Guadagnino and written by David Kajkanich.
I'm not sure if I'm saying that right either.
Yeah, that's okay. Based on Camille DeAngelis's 2015 novel Bones and All, which, funny enough, I kind of do want to read the book, though.
Really?
I'm interested. I probably could
I feel like that would be too descriptive for you.
But I'm interested, though, because I did like the story, but maybe it's not as brutal. I don't know. Again, not that this movie was even brutal. What am I talking about? I'm curious. I might try to pick it up, and if I get sick, I'm just not going to read it.
Okay, let me know how it is, because I heard that there's like a lot of good connections for like the analogies that are made in the topic that we're going to discuss.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'll let you know. We'll see.
Okay.
The story is set in the late 1980s and follows the journey of 2 young cannibals, portrayed by Taylor Russell and Timothée Chalamet, as they develop romantic feelings for each other during a road trip across the United States. The film premiered at the 79th Venice International Film Festival on September 2nd in 2022, where it received the Silver Lion for Best Direction and the Marcello Mastroianni Award for Taylor Russell's performance. It was released in the United States on November 18th by United Artists Releasing and internationally by Warner Brother Pictures, except in Italy, where it was distributed by Vision Distribution. Bones and All received positive reviews, with critics praising the performances, direction, the cinematography, score, and the innovative fusion of genres. I will say I really like the score of this movie. I think the music really added a lot.
I can't really even pick out any songs. Was there a particular pop song or anything?
No,
or whatever?
No, it was just, I don't know how to describe it. It wasn't like folky, but kind of.
Yeah. Okay. I will just say that overall, like, I knew that they were in love with each other, but every time they kissed, I was like, now they're going to bite each other. Now they're going to bite each other.
Oh,
like,
I was expecting them to
like
eat each other.
Like, just the way that they kiss is very, like, teeth gnashing kind of kiss.
I mean, it's probably what they're used to. Yeah. So despite it being praised, it did underperform at the box office, and it grossed only $15.2 million against a projection budget of $16 to $20 million. So
Oh, really?
did not make back its money. And fun fact, shooting took place in Chillicothe, Ohio, and Cincinnati, Ohio.
I will admit, after the whole finger scene, when she flees to Columbus by herself, I was like, get this bitch out of Ohio.
We say this because we're from Ohio, so
Yeah.
of course.
She can't be close. That's no good.
Yeah, but it also was filmed in Ohio, so that's fun.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I didn't hear that they were filming anything in Ohio.
No.
We're not close to Cincinnati, but...
I wouldn't think that Timothée
Chalamet
would deign to come to Ohio.
Not poor Timothée.
Not Timothée. Timothée Chalamet.
I'm going to have to look at the interview where I heard that.
Okay.
I didn't make it up, I promise.
You need a clip to put on our social media page to prove it.
I will. I'll tag him too.
Okay, there you go.
Notice us. So for Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 82% for the critics. That states, although its subject matter may be hard to stomach, Bones and All proves a deeply romantic and thought-provoking treat. And then audiences gave it a 62%, saying, depending on whether you've got the palate for this extremely unusual love story, Bones and All is either a farm-to-table treat or a revolting waste of time.
I can see it. I can see
it go either way.
Yeah. Like, I wouldn't make my mom watch this movie. This wouldn't be for her.
Does your mom like horror at all?
I mean, she likes romance, so this is technically a romance story, but...
Half of it.
Half.
The other half is the issue.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. You know what, though? I will say, I feel like there wasn't that much romance.
Not really.
They seem more like buddy-buddy, and at the end they kind of like...
I call it like a romantic attachment.
Yeah.
Rather than like a real relationship, or even like towards the end, it seems like, yeah, they've kind of like settled into being in a relationship. But until that point, it's just kind of like,
oh, hey, you're also what I am.
Yeah.
Let's stick together.
Right.
But also, at the end, I feel like it's less about the cannibalism, too. Like at some point, I feel like it doesn't matter as much. I don't know.
Well, we'll talk about it in the plot.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in the plot.
Speaking of which, are you ready to go into the plot?
Yes. Take 2. Should we talk about how we're re-recording this?
Yeah, I guess so.
Guys, we literally got through, a quarter of the plot, and then realized we weren't recording.
Yeah. These are brand new reactions
to
all the plot.
This is brand new. What? I didn't say any of this before.
No. You gotta remember how you said everything.
See, it's like behind the scenes.
Yes.
Those of you with a podcast have probably done this before, because we've also done that before. Okay. Part 2. Let's go.
Yes. In 1988, we see teenager Maren Yearly get invited to a friend's sleepover at school, and she says that her dad, Frank, won't let her go, but her friend suggests that she sneak out instead. At home, after being locked in her room, that's the key thing, she goes out the window and runs to her friend's house. At the sleepover, she seems to be getting along with this new friend. Maybe there's even a mutual attraction there. But when the girl shows Maren her freshly painted nails, Maren bites down and eats her fingy.
Yummy.
Not the fingy.
The fingy. I have to relive this again.
Yes.
Just a little snack.
Yeah.
She's hungry. This was immediately 5 minutes in the movie. I'm nauseous at this point. So, yeah, we're just starting off strong. Mm-hmm. Just want a little snack.
After watching her father lock her in her room, I thought maybe she just couldn't control herself.
Her eating?
Her eating. The fingy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see.
Well, either way. Also, too, didn't mention this in the first time we recorded it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I have extra things to say. When she was slipping out of the house, she grabs a screwdriver or something and puts it in her pocket.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so she came with something in case she decided to go to town, it seemed. So I guess it wasn't compulsive. It was premeditated.
Oh, that completely changes everything. I thought it was just like a finger, and then she ate it.
Yeah, because she's wearing a little sweater, and she puts it in one of those big pockets that are in the front of your sweater.
Maren, listen here. Girl,
We're on to you. We thought you couldn't help it.
I wasn't on to her. I didn't see that. Oh my God. Okay, so before, when we first recorded it, we're like, oh, it was an impulse. No.
Yeah.
She was going out on a mission. Do you think then, oh God, that opens up a can of worms. Do you think she was being all close to her to get to her finger? Or do you think she actually liked her?
I think she liked her. I think that's part of the issue, too.
She's like, I want to be with you, but I also want to eat you.
I think it's more covered in the book that anyone that has a romantic connection with her, she has issues with not trying to eat them.
Like a black widow, or like any spider, really.
Kinda, yeah. At least that's what I understood from it, that no matter who she has like a romantic connection with, she's going to want to eat them.
Oh my God. Yeah, wow, that completely changes things. I didn't realize she brought a screwdriver with her.
Yeah.
That completely changes the scene for me.
Yeah, so you really wonder, like, how far she would have gone, too, because, you know, like, you assume there's other girls at this sleepover. There's probably a parent there, too. Like, Is she just going to murder the house? Or, you know...
She's having a buffet.
She eats one fingy and she's like, oh, my eyes were too big for my stomach.
So I'm just going to go home. She, like, pats her mouth with a napkin. Thank you.
Just nibbles on the figgy on the way home. Sorry.
I'm going to die. I'm going to pass away. Oh, my gosh.
Sorry. Realizing what she's done, Marin frantically runs home.
Now, that really doesn't make sense. Like, she's like, girl, you knew what you were doing.
Right. Honestly, she's more or less, like, realizing that she was caught. She didn't pick a good time to bite a finky.
We didn't describe the situation. She's under the table with this girl. The table is glass.
Yeah. And two girls are sitting on the couch above, and they're painting their nails, and the girl that she is lying under the table with reaches up to let them paint her nails, and then she shows Marin, and Marin's like, Unch. Crunchy. Like carrots.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, so they see it. They're all screaming at her. The girl that lost the fingy screaming. It wasn't a good time to bite fingies.
Maybe Marin was hoping that everything was going to be okay. She's like, I got you, girl. Here's another one. And like, just lets her go to town on her fingers.
Right. Like, you can have one fingy every week if you're a good girl. Like,
for 10 weeks. Beyond that, I can't help you. Oh, my God.
Jeez. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the long-term plan was there.
I don't think she has one, which we kind of find out.
Yeah. So she frantically runs home and tells her dad what happened. Apparently this isn't their first rodeo, and they immediately pack up and relocate somewhere in Maryland. And the next morning, Marin wakes up to find that her father has abandoned her, leaving behind some money, her birth certificate, and a tape recorder. On the tape, he explains her cannibalistic tendencies, going back as young as 3 when she killed and partially consumed a babysitter.
Oh.
Then a boy went missing at her summer camp when she was 8, and he realized then that she had no remorse over what she'd done. And by the way, this tape that he gave her, she plays little bits and pieces of it throughout the movie, but I didn't want to have to, like, go back in the plot and be like, and then the tape said.
Yeah.
Because it just wouldn't make sense. It just basically tells her whole backstory of killing people.
Right.
And the dad was like, okay, I guess we move, and I hope she didn't choke on anything.
I know. It's like, we get it. She killed and ate a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And the dad did his best to cover it up. He hid some bodies the one time, at least, and stopped using their real names right after the first incident, I guess.
Oh, yeah, I guess. I wonder what her real name is.
Yeah.
Susan.
Maybe. I don't know. I think her mom, when we get there, her mom does call her Marin, so maybe the last name is always different.
Perhaps.
Maybe. So after that, he decided to enforce strict rules, keeping her from one-on-one interactions with people, as he knew she wouldn't give in to her urges in public. So he thought. But now that she's 18, he can no longer go on protecting her, as she continuously finds ways to get around it. He tells her he loves her, that he hopes she'll learn how to overcome her urges, and that she should destroy the tape after listening, because it implicates them both.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
By the way, this is very problematic.
I wouldn't even chance it.
Right. Like, yeah, I think if you leave and you just leave her money and a birth certificate, it's kind of obvious why you've left.
Right. I'd be like, hi, not my daughter. This is not your father. Talking about things I may have heard about once a time ago from a campfire story that totally wasn't you or me.
That's a good one. But honestly, though, if you're in a marriage situation and your father leaves you, are you going to be like, wow, I wonder why he did that?
I could not foresee this happening.
Maybe it's because I didn't clean my room. Like,
Could it possibly be that I'm a little hungry sometimes? Just a little snack. I just got the munchies.
Well, yeah. Can't help that.
She really can't.
I know. Hoping that her mother Janelle, who abandoned her when she was an infant, might provide her some answers, Marin sets out to her birthplace of Minnesota. Minnesota. At a bus stop in Ohio, Marin's approached by an eccentric older man named Sully, who is a fellow eater and reveals that he found her, apparently, by smell, because cannibals can identify each other by scent.
And we established you don't think this is like a paranormal thing.
No, I feel weird saying it, but I feel like it's a smell only they know, because eating people maybe makes you smell funny.
You stank. You must be eating.
You a stanky girl.
Do you think it's a good smell?
Probably for them.
Like an alluring smell?
Maybe. I don't know.
Ugh.
I also wonder, like, if they eat someone that's drunk, do they feel drunk kind of thing? Or, you know?
I mean, that seems to make sense in my head. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Let's try it out. Who wants to get drunk?
Who
wants to eat that?
Yeah, no. Pass.
Okay, this will be a Patreon thing.
A Patreon thing.
When we get there.
Yeah. Pay to see.
Once we hit like 500, what are they, followers on Patreon?
One
of us will eat the other one. We'll do like a little roulette wheel to see who gets to die.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Okay, hopefully
that's the top tier of the Patreon, though. We got so much other content to push out before. Because after that, the show's over.
Right. I'm thinking what, like maybe $15 we'll do it?
Oh, no, that's too cheap.
Oh, sorry, 20.
Oh, yeah.
I hope I'm the one dying.
God. I don't want to be either.
If I had to pick, I'll be eaten.
No. I don't want to eat it.
I don't want to eat it.
I'm sorry.
I'm an it. I can't work in these conditions.
I'm sorry. I just couldn't go through with it, is the thing.
Oh, God, you called me it.
I couldn't eat Alex. There you go.
Thank you. My humanity's back.
Yeah, of course.
All right, anyways. Jesus. Fucking Sully, this asshole.
Right. He leads her to a house and offers to cook for her, but she realizes that this is not his home and is shocked to find an elderly woman dying upstairs. I'm sorry, what? You're still laughing about?
No, just nonchalant. Shocked to find a woman dying. I'm just so nonchalant about it. There's a woman fucking dying up there.
I don't know. Like, she knows going in that he is a cannibal, so I don't know if she thought, like, he had settled there and was preparing her human or what. But eventually she's like, yeah, there's no way this house could be yours. You're too weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, she finds this elderly woman like kind of gasping for air upstairs.
Ugh, yeah. It's
which is sad for her.
Yeah. Can you just like end it? Like if you're gonna
right.
Like if he says he doesn't kill people.
He doesn't hurt people.
But like if you're letting her die.
Yeah.
By leaving her there. Like,
right.
You're prolonging her inevitable death.
You're prolonging the suffering. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's not do that.
Next thing, Sully says he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but apparently he is waiting for her to pass so then they can eat her. Yeah. So I don't know what your alternative is in this situation. I guess hang out at morgues or something so then you don't have to wait for people to die like that. But
yeah, but then you can't like eat people who've been embalmed.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true. You'd have to, like, get in there with the fresh batch.
Just gotta sneak in before they get pumped, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. Jeez.
It's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, eating people is a rough topic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No matter how you slice and dice it. Oh, God.
He warns Marin that her hunger will only grow over time as she shuts herself in a room for the night. And, yeah, next morning, it's like the dinner bell goes off. As soon as the woman dies, she can smell it. And she finds Sully eating her corpse and reluctantly joins him. No. Can we talk about how, like, I know it makes sense for Sully to do this, I guess. Sully is just wearing, like, an undershirt and whitey tighties. Mm-hmm. And, like, I get it, I guess, because you don't want to get all this blood all over you that you'll have to wash out of clothes that you probably don't have a lot of, but gross as well.
Yeah. Can we put like a apron on?
Like a towel or something? Like,
yeah, cover up a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. use the bed sheets. Like, obviously he didn't care about preserving the home or anything because he wipes her blood on a couch or something when he's getting cleaned off. So, yeah, use like a bed sheet, like wrap it around you like a toga or something.
Something.
Yeah. Anyway, afterward, while they are cleaning themselves off, Sully shows her a rope of braided hair that he's taken from all of his victims and wants her to stay and bond with him. Mm-hmm. No, thank you.
Yeah, some people collect cards. Some people collect... What do people collect these days? Not hair. Not hair.
Stamps, I guess. Stamps. Back in the day.
Collect them some stamps. Something wholesome, not your victim's hair.
Yeah, it's a long rope of hair, like taller than him, of hair.
It's grody.
Ugh.
Yeah. So imagine that, just a bunch of hair.
Yeah.
And a rope.
And he was like, "Yeah, you should get started on one." Like, yeah, like no, everyone should have one. You'll have one this long eventually. Like, no, I won't.
Yeah, because I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Unsettled by his interest in her, Marin flees from the house and gets on the next bus, while Sully eerily watches from the street.
Goodbye, Marin.
While shoplifting at a store in Indiana, Marin defends a mom that's being harassed by a drunk customer. A young man named Lee steps in, taking the man's hat and luring him outside. Realizing through smell that Lee is an eater, she comes upon him after he's just finished eating the man and asks for a ride when Lee steals the man's truck.
Efficient.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I think it's relying on a lot, too, because they also go back to the places where their victims lived.
Yeah.
To just assume that they live by themselves.
Well, he checks their car for, pictures and stuff, but, I don't keep pictures in my car or my wallet or anything
well, this is the 80s, though.
That's true. I feel like...
That was more common to have, a picture in your wallet or something.
I did, in high school, have pictures of, friends and shit.
Yeah.
And what happened? When did that stop happening?
Yeah. Well... Also, I think it's not as common once you get out of high school for you to be like, I took some portraits of myself.
Why not? Well, I don't even think... maybe because digital pictures are a thing now?
I guess so.
How many high schoolers have, how you gave your friends your senior picture or something?
Yeah.
Do they still do that?
I'm sure they do, but like I'm saying, after high school for your senior year, unless you're getting married or something like that, you're not going to just go... I'm going to go get some headshots done.
Why not? I get yearly headshots.
Oh, well, I haven't gotten any pictures.
I only get 2.
Oh, okay. Who gets the other one?
Don't worry about it. It's for me to know you to find out.
$15 on Patreon.
Yeah. No, that's the highest tier. It's the headshot to memorialize my eaten body.
And after Alex has left this mortal coil, if you pay $15 more.
After viewing the live stream of it being eaten,
Jesus Christ.
You can get a headshot. Pre-autographed. So you're good to go.
Yes. Jesus.
Oh, perfect.
Oh, this has gone real dark.
I think it sounds fun.
Oh, okay, good. I just won't go to jail or anything either.
No. I consent.
So, Marin and Lee quickly form a romantic attachment and decide to travel together to Minnesota to find Marin's mother. Along the way, they stay the night in Lee's deceased aunt's house in his hometown in Kentucky. Lee leaves briefly to meet up with his sister Kayla, who's unaware of his true nature, to teach her how to drive. When he returns, Kayla is with him, angry about how he never stays in town and is always driving off for weeks at a time, causing her and her mother to worry. He refuses to stay, so she leaves in a huff, and Marin is fascinated by his insistence that he not be spotted around town, and his refusal to discuss his father's disappearance.
What could have possibly happened? Dun, dun, dun.
I think she knows what happened. She just likes hearing other people's stories.
That's fair.
Shortly after, they leave town and are camping out when approached by 2 other eaters. They swap stories by the fire. We learn that one of them chose to be a cannibal out of fascination in watching the other, which is weird.
Right, this is where I was confused because one is innately eating people, so they're different.
Yeah,
they're just someone who chooses to eat somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the main of the 2 guys that's talking is Lee and Marin, feels compelled to eat people. This guy came upon this other man eating somebody and was like, wish I could do that. And then was like, I guess I'll be doing that now.
So he almost seems like the worst one because like the other people can't help it, quote unquote. Yeah. And he's just like, that sounds fun.
Yeah, that sounds like a fun thing to do.
Oh, bitch, let's maybe not. Like, get help.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, so they're cannibals, but like there's a little different.
There's a difference.
I mean, there's like genetics involved, spoiler. So it's interesting because it's not just cannibal.
Right.
There's like some component to it.
Yeah. And eventually the two men explain the concept of bones and all. A next stage of sorts is an eater where you just keep going and you consume the entirety of a person, bones and all.
You can't do that.
I don't think you should be able to, no.
No, you literally can't do that. So, another thing. That's not possible. First of all, in one sitting, no.
Yeah. Fair.
Your stomach.
Oh.
You would die immediately. Like, is the thought to eat them all at the one go? Because
that's what they're basically saying. He's implying that eventually the compulsion to eat someone will go so far beyond just craving to eat for a person and then just giving in and having your fill and then leaving, that it'll just expand to being so hungry that you just eat the whole thing.
Yeah, that's just not physically possible.
I don't think so, no.
Let's think about that. Can I eat approximately 150 to 200 pounds in one sitting?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Let's find out. Patreon exclusive.
No, stop with the Patreon exclusives.
Good times.
You're writing checks we can't cash.
Are we?
Well, you're asking them to write checks that we can't cash.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, you can't do that. That's why I'm like, is there a supernatural element?
Yeah, but I think that's why I was so surprised that there was never like any like cooking or preparing compared to like something like the movie Fresh, where he was like very into making it like an art form and stuff like that, and taking pieces and like keeping the person alive for as long as possible to keep it fresh.
That movie also made me sad.
Yes, that also made me sad as well. But I mean, at least they were living for a while.
Yeah, she just got butt chopped off. Spoiler for Fresh if you didn't watch it.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so I was surprised that they, especially with how risky it is to kill someone and eat them, that they weren't preserving it more to eat more later.
Right.
You know? Like, I don't know, a cooler or something.
Yeah, let's just put them in the freezer in the basement.
Yeah, something. But I guess they need like a home to do that.
Probably. Yeah, it's just wasteful. Like, don't just take a little bite. Like, if you're going to do it, might as well do it.
Yeah, go all in. I guess that's probably why it is helpful when you team up with someone, too, because then you can share a person rather than...
I hate this conversation.
I do, too. No one likes to eat alone.
Have you ever gone to dinner by yourself?
Not really.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
Actually,
I don't like it.
You don't?
Not really.
Oh.
Not unless I'm like, I really have something to do, like I'm busy with something, but most of the time whenever I've gone by myself, I'm like, I feel sad.
I'm so lonely.
I'm so lonely.
Okay, go on.
Marin and Lee are so disturbed by the concept that they take off while these two are asleep. The couple visits a local carnival where Marin admits that she's hungry, so Lee seduces and kills a male employee in a cornfield as Marin watches and the two consume him together.
How romantic.
He is. Yeah, at first I was thinking the way she was looking at them as they're like, they do some stuff. It's not just like follow me and then they kill him. Like they're like in the act.
It's like sexual stuff.
It's sexual. I thought maybe she would get jealous or something like that, but she didn't really say shit.
No, I think she knew it was a means to the end.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like he was doing it because he was cheating on her per se. He
I
was
guess
like
so.
Doing it to eat him.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's true. Hoping to hide out at the man's house after taking his car, Marin is horrified to learn that he had a wife and children. This leads to an argument with Lee, who insists that they cannot blame themselves for their nature.
Yeah, free will is the thing.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, he did go off with a strange person, to say the least. Not saying that blame the victim, but...
Yeah, you should have known you were going to die. You should know better.
Well, I mean, just don't cheat on your wife. Maybe that would have helped you.
Right. Yeah, that's
in that situation.
You probably shouldn't have done that either. I don't know if you know she should have been eaten because of it, but I mean, maybe.
Well, no, who deserves to be eaten, but, well.
Wow. Anyways.
Alex for $15.
I thought we said 20. No, he did a bad thing, and he paid the price, but also Lee You cannot just be like, well, I guess we just gotta eat people, and that's that. I mean, like, I guess, I was say, don't feel ashamed, but, like, just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Let's work on it.
Right.
Like, maybe
that's kind of the argument, too. I think Marin, that's why she's, like, shocked and stuff, like, when Sully has this woman dying upstairs and stuff like that. Like, she doesn't, like, go into most situations, I think, just being like, wow, we're going to stop and kill someone. Mm-hmm. She goes for so long without eating, and then eventually she kind of, like, just gives in rather than being premeditative about it.
Yeah.
Eventually, they are able to track down Janelle's adoptive mother in Minnesota, who is not at first very warm towards her or forthcoming with information. And you'd think, like, this is her long-lost grandchild. Why are you here?
Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah. But when Marin confronts her that she knows her mother must have hurt someone, she gives in. She informs her that Janelle had willingly committed herself to a psychiatric hospital several years prior, and makes Marin well aware that she's not welcome back to her home.
Okay.
Thanks.
I didn't know you. Don't need to.
Right.
Bye.
When she finds her mother at the mental hospital, she is shocked to see that she has eaten her own hands.
Ow.
Yeah.
Ow. Could you imagine? No.
My own hands? No.
Must have been hungry.
So,
I've never been so hungry to eat my own hands.
Right.
I don't die. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
And she's so heavily medicated, she can't speak. The nurse then hands Marin a letter from Janelle addressed to her daughter in case they were ever to meet again. And in it, she proclaims that if she were ever to see her again, it means her father didn't keep his promise, and that they are better off dead than living as monsters.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom.
Jeez. Right after, Janelle just, tries to eat her, tries to attack Marin before being restrained by the nursing staff. Outside, she tells Lee what happened, declaring that she won't follow in her mother's footsteps, and soon leaves Lee when he's asleep in the truck.
That was a little sad.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, it's not Lee's fault. It's not Lee's fault your mommy wanted to eat you.
Talk about mommy issues.
Right.
My God.
Shortly after, she's approached by Sully, and I'm like, this is why you shouldn't have left Lee.
I know. Oh, my God. I mean, it made sense that he came back in the story, but I thought, we were done with him. I was really hoping that was just, a weird
fluke.
Yeah, but I'm like, this bitch is going to come back.
Yeah. Too interested.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to show him, and then it wasn't resolved.
Yeah.
Here we are. See Sully again. Mm-hmm. Our bestie Sully.
No. He admits to following her there, and he wants her to come with him. She rejects him again, pointing out that he's an old man that's obviously sexually attracted to her, which angers him, and he violently pushes her away before driving off. He keeps on saying, I cleaned off in front of you, implying that was some sort of private ritual. Maybe he's just never really eaten with anybody before, I guess.
That was your choice, my guy.
Yeah. He invited her into this, and yeah, I don't know.
That was your choice. You chose
I'm sorry
that?
you didn't vibe, but...
Right, yeah. Old man. Wait.
Yeah. Meanwhile, devastated that Marin has left him, Lee calls his sister Kayla to tell her he's coming back home. A month or so later, Marin finds her way back to Kentucky. She runs onto Kayla, who admits that Lee has been around waiting for her to come back, and explains that her alcoholic father had beaten them on the night of his disappearance. And Lee was held as the prime suspect, but was cleared of all charges when they found that the blood on him was his own. Marin and Lee rekindle their relationship and decide to resume their travels with no destination in mind. Lee tearfully tells Marin that he realized his father was an eater when he bit him during their fight, and held his father hostage for 3 days in an abandoned barn while he fed on him, as well as having enjoyed the thrill of it.
Ew!
Yeah.
Okay, so just eating people in general is, obviously sick and twisted.
No.
But then, to eat a family member?
Mm-hmm.
That's somehow even worse.
Yeah.
That's just, incesty vibe. You know what I'm saying? In a weird
guess.
Roundabout way. It's not sexual, obviously, but, you're eating...
It almost is implied, though, that every time that they eat someone, there's, a sexual attraction there.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Which, I mean, to be fair, his father bit him first, but...
Right. Yeah, you did it first. That was an invitation to bite off, and I won.
Yeah, I guess. Also, I think, he hit his breaking point when he attacked his sister, so...
Oh, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Game over.
He asks Marin if that makes him a bad person, but she tells him that she loves him, and they promise to depart from cannibalism and lead normal lives.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like,
Why
I
couldn't
didn't
we
know
do
it was
this
that
before?
easy. Like,
Right.
why didn't we go into this with that goal in mind? Like,
Right, like, can we just...
because it's not like they refuse to eat otherwise. They eat other things sometimes.
Yeah, they were at a diner
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Eating pancakes.
Right. So you can eat other things. It's not like you have to starve otherwise.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Some months later, the couple has happily settled in Michigan. They seem to be living normal lives with jobs and school and whatnot until one day Marin comes home to find Sully waiting for her.
I was like, fuck. I knew it. It was like third time. You have to do the 3. And there he was.
He throws himself on top of her, holding her at knife point, and he confesses that he plans to kill and eat her. When Lee arrives home, Marin hits him in the head, and Lee restrains him from behind as Marin stabs him to death.
Got him.
Yep. They drag his body to the bathtub, and Marin finds a lock of Kayla's hair in Sully's rope.
You know what? It's funny. Not funny. But they don't say it's Kayla's hair. But the way they did it, like, you knew.
Well, Lee kind of, like, questions it. He's like, is that Kayla? Did he get her or something
did
like
he?
that? And
I
Marin
don't
was
think he
like, just
did.
don't worry about it. Don't think about that right now or something.
Okay. Well, the first time you see the blonde hair, they don't say it. And you, like, know. Because... I saw it. I'm like, that's Kayla's hair. It was before Lee even showed up. They
Oh,
showed
really?
that.
Okay. I didn't even really think about it or even see it. The hair is just such a weird thing and just like a tangle mass of anything. And I think, there's so many blondes in the world.
Oh, yeah,
just
no.
didn't think about it
As soon as I
being
saw the
anybody
blonde.
connected to them.
Oh, yeah. As soon as I saw the blonde, I'm like, eat Kayla.
Oh.
For sure. Like, immediately. I thought it was obvious. So I'm like, oh.
Well, I only thought it once I heard them say, like, is that Kayla? Or
Oh,
something.
I didn't even hear.
I thought that's what he said, like, when he was dying on the floor.
Oh, I didn't catch that if they did. I thought they didn't even say it, but I got the message loud and clear.
Either way, we both found it.
Yeah.
Suddenly, they realize that Lee was fatally wounded in the attack as he lies dying in Marin's arms. Lee pleads for her to love him and eat him bones and all, to which she reluctantly complies.
Hate that.
Yeah. I was like, couldn't we just take him to a hospital?
No, it's fatal.
Yeah,
He did.
he did.
I thought, like, once they were in Michigan and they were happy, I'm like, oh, okay. We're ending on a good note. Nope.
Well, she said it punctured his lung. So I was like, he has another lung, though. Like, can they just take him to a hospital?
I don't know. I'm not going to pretend.
I don't know. I guess because of, like, all the blood and stuff and Sully being dead there's really no chance that they could risk it, I guess.
Yeah.
So they have to basically let him die, but I don't know. I thought there was something else that could be done.
Yeah, perhaps. Or, alternatively, once he knew Kayla was dead, he was like, fuck this. Just let me die.
Yeah, true. Maybe.
I don't know. But, oh well, he's dead.
Oh, well, the end.
Timothée Chalamet is no more a... He died. He did.
So what did you think?
Boo! No, it was good.
Yeah, you like the whole love story aspect of it, I guess?
I liked it better than the cannibalism. I was...
The love story was my favorite, not the cannibalism.
I was exactly. Well, I was telling Nick, I'm like, this would have been a fun, like, road trip movie about a young, like, I don't know, poor couple, I guess.
Homeless couple or something.
Yeah, I would have dug that. I don't need them meeting nobody.
Yeah.
I don't need this. Because I liked that aspect of it. Just not that they ate people. But that's the whole point of the movie, so
Yeah, I guess.
that's just me. So, what did you have, bones and all, ranked before watching it?
I had it as a 7.
7. I had it as a 10.
Really?
So here's the thing. Technically, 10 is our first I can't unsee this. And in that aspect, I agree. I can't unsee this.
Oh, okay.
So
The fingy? Is it just about the fingy?
that's the thing. I can't unsee this in the sense of, not in like a scary aspect, but in a, that was a lot. I don't want to watch that again.
Really? You never want to watch this again?
I'll watch the movie again, but not the finger. I will close my eyes during the parts that made me ill. So in a way, the 10 makes sense in a, I can't unsee this. But it wasn't that it was scary. It just made me sick.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
fair enough.
In a way, I'll convert my sickness into scariness in this moment.
On the sicky scale.
On a sicky scale. So I have it as a 10 on the sicky scale. I cannot unsee this, and I don't want to again.
Okay. I had a 7, and I think that, the cannibalism is cannibaling. And,
Do be cannibal.
and the finky scene is upsetting. I will say that. I didn't like that. otherwise, I don't know. Nothing else really bugged me.
It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's just gross and not good.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, even like the cannibalish parts of it, like them eating people. We talked about this in our first take before we had realized that we weren't recording it. That when I see them eating a person, it's very easy for me to just like, yeah, I know it's a bad thing. It's disturbing. It's awful. But it's very easy for me to compartmentalize and be like, it's like watching the Discovery Channel with like animals killing a gazelle on the savannah and they're just having their fill. Like, yeah, that was a person, but like we've been following these characters. So I don't know. I just don't have a connection there.
Yeah. It's also the main characters, the heroes, quote unquote, of the story that we're following are the cannibals. So it's not like outsiders are the villains trying to eat you. Yeah. So it's not scary that way because you're sympathizing with the cannibals. Right. So you're like, okay, well, the way they frame it, they can't help it, blah, blah, blah. But the act itself is bad, but it's not like scary. So yeah.
I will say, though, that I ranked it as high as I did, though, just because of the uncomfortability of not being able to trust anyone that they ran into that was a cannibal. And not even themselves, honestly. Because like I said, every time they kissed, it felt like they were on the verge of biting each other. And then that's how they would end up killing each other somehow. And I wanted to say this, too, because especially once we get into our topic and everything, I don't think that they did anything more than kiss because I don't think that they could help themselves if they did.
Yeah, and kind of like what you said, I think in the book, you said it's more prominent, but if they were to get too close and Marion was to be romantically interested, like, she's going to eat him. So, like, you can't even trust the person you're with. Right. Like, that's fucked.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because, like, even with her father locking her in the room, like, he loves her. He's been protecting her for all these years and stuff. But he knows deep down, like, you know, one day she might get hungry and she might just eat me anyway.
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's scary as shit.
Yeah. And you would hope that she wouldn't, but who knows?
Right. So that's scary. Like, the concepts in the movie are terrifying. The way it's presented is not.
Right.
So like,
exactly. Like, it's not too gory for a movie about cannibalism.
It's not. It's really not. And again, as I described, that's part of the problem for me. But yeah, it's not.
I wish it was really insanely gory.
Yeah. Then I'd be like, okay, this is silly. Yeah. But no, it's not that gory. It's just gross, dirty, dingy.
Very much so.
So concept scary. Execute, because they also try to make it a romance, so it's like it can't be too scary, you know. So.
Yeah, not with Timothée Chalamet.
Not with Timothée Chalamet.
So we're gonna cut to a commercial real quick, and we will be right back.
Hi, we are the Load Bearing Beams podcast. Every week we do a deep dive for about 90 minutes into a different movie.
We take turns every week picking a movie that's important to us and maybe the other person has not seen. So we deal with nostalgia and we are defensive of our movie usually, but we're there to defend it. We look into its history, its director, the writer. We go way in depth in the movie itself and come up with our own theories and insights.
Some recent movies that I have picked for us to talk about are Mad Max 2: The Road Warrior, the 1968 The Producers, and The Page Master.
And some of my movies have been Cruel Intentions, Sister Act, and Goldie Hawn's Overboard.
So listen to us every Friday wherever you get your podcasts or watch us on YouTube.
Okay, I love you. Goodbye.
So the topic I chose for this is queer coding in Bones and All. And I found this really good article from the Berkeley Beacon called Finger Lickin' Good, the Coding of Queerness as Cannibalism in Bones and All.
Fired, jail. Finger licking good?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
They had a lot of interesting things to say on the subject. So
I better...
So I did a nice little summary of it.
Okay.
So we don't have to read it if you don't want to. In 1846, the Donner Party, a group of pioneers from Illinois heading to California, turned to cannibalism to survive. Decades later, the Southern Gothic film Bones and All, which has received international acclaim, portrays a romance between two cannibals in rural, impoverished America. Essentially, the film starring Timothée Chalamet.
You're just going to say that forever now.
It's just so nice to say because of the Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah.
I'll forever say his name as he was given it, I guess.
My bad.
He brings a certain allure to the concept of cannibalism. Bones and All addresses the alienation experienced by queer individuals by depicting queer-coded characters in a heterosexual relationship, thus avoiding traditional heteronormative portrayals.
Huh.
Yeah, as I get into it, the more you think about it, you're like, oh.
I mean, outside of the 2 scenes where the very beginning.
Yes.
And then he killed that guy. They're bisexual.
Yeah, at best. And then
at best.
But then you read this and you're like, oh, I get it.
Okay. I'm interested.
Yeah. Shirley Lindenbaum, a cultural anthropologist, defines survival cannibalism as consuming others out of starvation, driven by the need to live. Historical instances of survival cannibalism include the Donner Party, Alfred Packer in the Colorado mountains during an 1883 blizzard, and the rugby team that crashed in the Andes in 1972. I just recently listened to episodes about that.
I had to read the book in school.
Oh, really?
Guess who also almost passed out reading that book?
Damn.
It's also a movie. It's called Alive.
Yeah, I've heard of that one, but I've never watched it.
They eat the butts.
Lovely. But the thing that bothers me about is like the people that were trapped in the seats and didn't die immediately.
Yeah.
That was the sad thing.
That's fair.
That upsets me. Those are the things that get to me.
It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not a great thing.
So Lindenbaum contrasts this with cannibalism stemming from psychopathology or insanity, citing modern examples like a Russian couple who killed and ate over 20 people. And this was as recent as 2019.
Don't like that.
In Bones and All, cannibalism is portrayed as an inherent and uncontrollable hunger, challenging the psychopathological view. This portrayal suggests cannibalism in the film as a survival mechanism, likening it to the inherent nature of queerness. The film draws parallels between the segregation of cannibals in its narrative and the real-world segregation of queer individuals. Bones and All follows Marin, a girl abandoned by her father after eating a friend's finger at a slumber party, and Lee, who struggles with his cannibalistic urges while maintaining relationships. The movie blends romance and horror with its queer-coded narrative, adding depth to its romantic elements. The film suggests the possibility of inherited cannibalism. Marin's mother, who shares her cannibalistic tendencies, is shown in a penitentiary after eating her own hands. Lee, however, is depicted as coming from a non-cannibal family. And there's some aspects of the article that I'm like, oh, I don't think they got that right. But I don't know if they mean that, like, Lee's father wasn't actually someone that ate people, or if he just kind of, like, reacted in that moment. And that was enough to set Lee off. That he thought, like, oh, you'd eat me if you had the chance. Well, I was thinking about eating you.
Yeah, I had the thought first. That was my idea.
Yeah. So the film elicits sympathy for its protagonists, despite their horrifying acts, questioning the inheritance of cannibalism. Bones and All uses cannibalism as a metaphor for queerness, illustrating the villainization of queer individuals. Marin's story begins with a sleepover incident where she eats her friend's finger, a scene imbued with a sense of queer attraction. Lee's relationship with his sister, who accepts him despite his evasiveness and what the town thinks of him, reflects a realistic dynamic often unrepresented in queer narratives.
Can I say something that was interesting? She did call him the F slur, for one. And, like, some of his clothing, if you noticed, like, he was wearing, like, a frilly top at one point.
Yeah.
And, like, the way he was wearing his shirt, when she called him that, he undid it the way it made him look like that. So that was also another thing I picked up on.
Yeah. But, like, the symbolism, the article, the way I ended up summarizing it, I didn't want him to sound like she accepted him being a cannibal. She doesn't know that he's a cannibal. But she accepts that, you know, like, my brother is an outcast or something in society. But in reality, she's also still calling him a fag.
Yeah. Bro.
The film challenges stereotypes of queer individuals as animalistic or predatory. In one scene, Lee seduces a man to eat him, highlighting the film's exploration of cannibalism as a metaphor for queerness, while maintaining the central heterosexual romance. The film suggests that the protagonist's cannibalism is not inherited or psychopathological, but symbolic of their queerness, which society rejects. Ultimately, Bones and All depicts a straight romance while addressing the alienation of queer individuals. The film refrains from portraying a same-sex romance to avoid reinforcing harmful stereotypes. By presenting a straight couple with cannibalistic tendencies, the film highlights queer isolation without equating queerness with savagery. This approach allows the film to critique heteronormative narratives while offering a nuanced portrayal of queerness.
Okay. Part of me is, like, I'm torn because you still imply some of those instances and scenes, but then you're like, but it's not savagery. But you're still, like, implying. Does that make sense? Like, it would almost be better if you just didn't include any sort of queer scenes and then just still made it. That's the intention.
Yeah.
Not necessarily explicit in any way.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because you still kind of played with that a little bit in the movie. I'm like, well, you still kind of did that.
I guess so.
I don't care personally, but it's just something to think about.
I think the book more focuses on Marin only eating members of the opposite sex.
Okay.
So I don't think there really is. I don't know if there is like a babysitter or a friend that she bites in the book.
Oh, okay. Huh. Interesting. I could see. I mean, I definitely see it. I saw it.
Yes.
It seems a little gay when you watch the movie.
It seems a little gay.
It seems a little gay. But yeah, that's interesting. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought also too, like when her father sends her away in hopes that she'll like get past these urges, it kind of is like the equivalent of sending your gay child to like one of those camps or conversion camps. Like be like, if you can stop this, that would be great. Then you can come back home for Christmas.
Yeah, great. Do that. Mm-hmm. Just do what Marin's dad did.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh boy, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was a good one, and happy Pride, y'all.
Happy Pride, yeah. Last week, Pride.
Yes.
Got it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show, listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Giving us a 5-star rating is super helpful, and we always appreciate it.
Spotify users can now comment on our episodes, so you can tell us how we're doing and request films for us to watch in the future. We'd love to hear from you on how we're doing. You can find us on social media using 13 Degrees of Screams.
This has been 13 Degrees of Screams, and we will see you next week.
She's a man-eater, makes her work hard, makes her sweat hard. That's all I got.
I don't know.